All right, hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. If you're new here, my name is Mohammed. We continue our training and preparation for Elastic Certified Engineer exam, and today with a new topic. We will see how we implement or we understand first the replication, then we see the cross-cluster replication, right? So we talked in the previous videos about the replication, right? So in Elastic, by default, we have if you create an index and if you didn't specify the number of the primary shards and the number of replicates, then Elastic by default will assume or will have one for primary shard, one for replica. And the primary shard is, as the name mentioned, is the primary, and the shard is or the replica, it's a copy from the primary, right? So as you can see here, primary one, and here we can see replica 1, and here we see replica 1. Primary 2, here we see replica 2, and here we see replica 2. And finally we have primary 3, here we will have replica 3, and here we have replica 3. So another option, it's a shard allocation awareness. By default, also Elastic will make sure that the copy or the replica here in our case is not in the same node as the primary shard, right? So we will never ever see a replica in the name node in the same node as the primary shard. So Elastic by default will make sure that the replica is in another node. Why we need the replica? So the first is for the high availability purpose. For if we lose this node for a reason or another, we are 100% that we have a copy in other nodes, right? So here the primary, we have the replica 1 here and we have the replica 1 here. And if you want to understand more, like here the master node will switch or will change the type here, like we are missing the primary shard. The cluster health will be yellow. Why? Because we are missing one of the shards, and here it will change the type of the replica from replica, or will change the type of the shard from replica to a primary. Then the primary shard will be this one, and if this cluster or if this node come back to our network, this one is still or stay primary, and this one will be the replica. This is one of the reasons. The other one is the augmenting the or having a better performance, or augmenting the throughput of the search, right? So this is in one cluster. Now imagine we have multiple clusters, right? So we have the production cluster, and we have a disaster recovery cluster, or we have as we saw previously, we have the cluster in Asia, another one in Europe, another one in US, or in US, let's say, or in Canada here. So what will happen here, right? What's the benefits of this one, and what will happen? So we usually use it for disaster recovery. Mean all the indices we have in cluster A, we make sure we have a copy in cluster B. Like this, we even, like in this case, if we lose all the cluster for a reason or another, not just one node, not two nodes, not the node 3, but all of them, we lost all the cluster. And here in this case, we are sure that we have another cluster up and running with the right data, was running in a passive mode. We was replicating all the data in a real time or near real time, and we call it the disaster recovery. In this case, if we lose this one, if we lose this cluster, the traffic will be redirected to this cluster, and this one, let's say, is the backup of this cluster, and the user will not even notice that something happened, right? So this is one case. I will talk also about another. This is as they specify here, we have unidirectional and we have bidirectional. So here in the unidirectional, this is what we saw in the in this case, or in the disaster recovery cluster, like it's unidirectional, like this will copy the data that's here in production to this one. We have another use case, which is this one, bi-directional. So it's gonna be like this. Yeah, it's gonna be like this. So this data, or this data center, or this cluster A and cluster B. So this is receiving data from, let's say, customer A, and here we are receiving data from customer B, right? And here we are using a data center A as a backup for data center B, and the other way, or the inverse, is correct. And also here we're using it as a leader, as they call it here, and the other cluster B as a follower. So the data that we find here is here as well, and also the data we have here, we find it here as well, right? So in this case, if we miss this cluster or this data center, we are sure that both data centers, or the data of both data centers, are available. So the A is be here, the follower is will be here, and we just make it alive, or we just make it leader, and it will be also accessible and searchable and everything. And here it's here the same. And the other case is also true. If we lose this data center, we are 100% sure that the data is alive and searchable, and our customers can be, or they will be able to use. There is some other use cases that, as you can see here, but this is the main reason for the cross-cluster replication. And the two type of the cross-cluster replication is the unidirectional or bi-directional configuration, right? How to do that? We can do it from the dev tools. Okay, so this is all right. Now let's go back to our environment. So here you click on cross-cluster replication, right? And you click on add the index. So here in the documentation, there is really good examples or use cases. One of the for the unidirectional disaster recovery, and one for the bi-directional. So here for unidirectional, so this is the architecture. So if we lose a cluster, we make sure that the other cluster is available. How we can do that? First, we have to configure the remote cluster, right? Then we add the settings here, right? Let me go back to the so here, as you can see, we put the leader index, and here the follower index, and you click on create. Like the remote cluster is not working, and this 100% will not work. But following the architecture here, or the example, this is the command lines, or this is the queries that we have to run to enable the cross clusters. Here is the other commands, and the same for the bidirectional. So this is the explanation how it works, and also this give us the steps to do. So here we have the remote cluster, and remote cluster, since it's bidirectional, this is cluster A, cluster B, and some other informations like to give the connection, right? And here how it's gonna be configured to be able to configure the bidirectional cross cluster replication. And this is an extra configuration for the if one of the cluster fail over or fail, how the other cluster will take the lead and keep serving the customers and the clients and respond to the queries, right? With that being said, we get to the end of this video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any question, and we see you in the next one.